Have you ever felt like you were your own worst enemy? Like, something inside you was holding you back from your goals and dreams? You're not alone. Many of us struggle with self-sabotage, which is this sneaky habit that can keep us feeling stuck and unfulfilled. We often focus on external obstacles, but honestly, sometimes the biggest challenges come from within. Self-sabotage is a powerful force, but understanding it is the first step to breaking free and creating the life we desire. Let's explore why we self-sabotage and how we can overcome it. It's time to reclaim your power and step into your full potential. So join me as we uncover the surprising psychology of self-sabotage and discover how to overcome it together. Self-sabotage is, simply put, getting in our own way. It's when our actions contradict our desires, holding us back from the things we want most. Think of it as an internal battle between what we want to achieve and the fears and insecurities that hold us back. Imagine training for a marathon, dedicating months to preparation, only to skip the race day because of last-minute doubts. Or consider finally working up the courage to ask someone out, then backing out at the last second due to overwhelming fear of rejection. These are just two examples of how self-sabotage can manifest. It can take many forms, from procrastination and negative self-talk to unhealthy coping mechanisms and fear of success. But at its core, self-sabotage is a defense mechanism, a way to protect ourselves from potential pain and disappointment. Self-sabotage doesn't appear out of thin air, like a sudden storm. It's not a random occurrence, but rather a pattern that develops over time. It's a complex interplay of factors that often lie hidden beneath the surface. It's often rooted in deep-seated beliefs and experiences, those formative moments and ingrained ideas that shape who we are. These roots run deep, influencing our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in ways we may not even realize, that shape our perceptions of ourselves and the world around us. These perceptions act as filters, coloring our reality and influencing how we interpret events and interactions. Low self-esteem, for example, can lead us to believe we're not worthy of success or happiness, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of disappointment. This belief can be incredibly powerful, holding us back from pursuing our dreams and reaching our full potential, causing us to subconsciously undermine our efforts, often without even realizing we're doing it. It's like an invisible force working against us, sabotaging our chances of success. Insecurity, too, plays a significant role, fueling our fears and anxieties. When we doubt ourselves and our abilities, when we question our worth and competence, we're more likely to procrastinate, putting off important tasks and responsibilities, make excuses, justifying our inaction and avoiding accountability, or avoid taking risks that could lead to growth and fulfillment, choosing the safety of the familiar over the potential for something better. We tell ourselves we're not ready, creating barriers to entry, not good enough, reinforcing negative self-perceptions, or that it's not the right time, finding reasons to delay and postpone our goals, all to avoid the possibility of failure and judgment, protecting ourselves from perceived threats to our self-esteem. Fatigue, both physical and mental, can also contribute to self-sabotaging behaviors, weakening our resolve and impairing our judgment. When we're tired and burned out, when our energy reserves are depleted, our decision-making abilities are compromised, making it harder to make sound choices, making us more susceptible to impulsive choices that undermine our long-term goals, leading us down a path of regret. We reach for comfort in unhealthy habits, seeking temporary relief from stress and discomfort, neglecting our well-being and hindering our progress, ultimately perpetuating the cycle of self-sabotage. What starts as a few isolated incidents of self-sabotage, those little moments where we undermine our own progress, can quickly spiral into a vicious cycle, a self-perpetuating pattern that becomes increasingly difficult to escape. It's like being caught in a whirlpool, constantly pulled back in despite our best efforts to break free. As we continue to get in our own way, repeatedly hindering our own advancement, we reinforce negative beliefs about ourselves, solidifying those inner critic voices that tell us we're not good enough, further eroding our self-esteem, chipping away at our confidence and sense of worth, and making it even harder to break free from this destructive pattern. It feels like being trapped in a maze with no exit in sight. This cycle of struggle can manifest in different ways, taking on various forms depending on our individual vulnerabilities and experiences. But a common pattern is procrastination, putting off important tasks and responsibilities. This is often followed by feelings of guilt and shame, a heavy burden of regret for our inaction. We put things off, delaying what needs to be done, telling ourselves we'll do them later, rationalizing our avoidance with promises of future action, only to feel overwhelmed and disappointed when deadlines loom and tasks remain undone. When we inevitably fall short of our goals and expectations, this in turn reinforces the belief, strengthening the conviction that we're not capable or disciplined enough to achieve what we set out to do, perpetuating the cycle of self-doubt and inaction. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Another manifestation of this cycle is fear of success, a hidden anxiety about achieving our goals, often disguised as a lack of motivation, a seeming inability to get started. We may have a deep-seated belief that success will lead to unwanted outcomes, increased pressure to maintain that level of achievement, more responsibility and expectations from others, or even social isolation, a fear of being distanced from our peers. To avoid these perceived negative consequences, we unconsciously steer clear of opportunities. We subconsciously sabotage our efforts, undermining our chances of success, remaining in our comfort zone, clinging to the familiar and avoiding the unknown, even if it means sacrificing our true potential and settling for less than we're capable of. Self-sabotage can be, pretty subtle, often disguised as something else entirely. We may justify our actions with seemingly rational explanations, unaware of the underlying forces at play. However, by learning to recognize the common signs and patterns, we can start to identify when we're actually getting in our own way. One telltale sign is a pattern of procrastination, especially when it comes to tasks that are important to us. We might find ourselves constantly putting off writing that important email, starting that passion project, or having that difficult conversation, always finding something more urgent to do. Another red flag is engaging in negative self-talk, constantly criticizing ourselves and focusing on our flaws. We may downplay our accomplishments, dismiss compliments, or compare ourselves unfavorably to others, reinforcing a negative self-image that fuels self-sabotaging behaviors. We've all been there, haven't we? That moment when we seem to be actively working against our own best interests. The psychology behind self-sabotage is honestly pretty complex and multifaceted, a tangled web of motivations and fears. It's not a simple case of lacking willpower or being inherently flawed, but at its core lies a desire to protect ourselves. It's about self-preservation, even if it seems counterintuitive. It's a defense mechanism, a way to shield ourselves from potential pain, disappointment, or maybe just the unknown, the uncertainty that life inevitably throws our way. By setting low expectations or sabotaging our efforts, we sort of create a safety net, a way to avoid the potential sting of failure. We tell ourselves it didn't matter that much anyway. For some, self-sabotage actually stems from a fear of success. It sounds strange, but it's very real. They might believe that success will change them or their relationships, that they won't be the same person anymore, or that they're just not equipped to handle the increased pressure and responsibility that comes with it. The fear of being exposed as a fraud can be paralyzing. This fear, often subconscious, can lead to behaviors that undermine their efforts and keep them from reaching their full potential. It's a tragic irony, really. Others may self-sabotage as a way to control their environment and avoid vulnerability. It's a way of saying, I'll fail on my own terms. By maintaining a sense of control over their failures, they can avoid the discomfort of putting themselves out there, risking rejection, or facing the possibility that they might not be good enough. It's a way to protect their ego, even if it's ultimately self-defeating. This need for control can be particularly strong in those who have experienced trauma or have a history of feeling powerless. It's an attempt to regain some agency in their lives, even if it manifests in destructive ways. Overcoming self-sabotage is really a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to challenge those deeply ingrained beliefs and behaviors that, honestly, just don't serve us anymore. The first step is acknowledging that self-sabotage is happening, recognizing the patterns and understanding the underlying reasons behind them. Once we've identified our self-sabotaging behaviors, we can start to challenge the negative thoughts and beliefs that fuel them. This means practicing self-compassion, treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, and focusing on our strengths rather than our perceived weaknesses. Setting realistic goals and breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps can also be super helpful. By focusing on one step at a time, we can build momentum, gain confidence, and avoid feeling overwhelmed. And celebrating our successes, no matter how small, is crucial because it reinforces positive self-belief and encourages us to keep going. Remember, you are definitely not alone in this journey. Self-sabotage is such a common human experience, and seeking support from trusted friends, family members, or a therapist can make a world of difference. Sharing your struggles with others can provide valuable insights, encouragement, and accountability. As you progress on your journey, be patient with yourself. Change takes time, and there will be setbacks along the way. The key is to view these setbacks as learning opportunities, chances to adjust your approach and develop even greater self-awareness. Practice self-care, both physically and mentally. Engage in activities that nourish your soul, whether it's spending time in nature, pursuing a hobby, or just allowing yourself to rest and recharge. When you prioritize your well-being, you're better equipped to face challenges and resist the urge to self-sabotage. The journey to overcoming self-sabotage is an ongoing process, but honestly, the rewards are immeasurable. By understanding the psychology behind our self-defeating behaviors and developing healthier coping mechanisms, we can break free from the cycle of struggle and step into our full potential. Remember, you are capable of achieving amazing things. Believe in yourself, embrace your strengths, and never stop striving for the life you deserve. The power to create positive change really does lie within you. Take a deep breath, trust the process, and start building the life you've always dreamed of. The path to self-discovery and fulfillment awaits. Are you ready to embrace your potential?